Otis Wilson, who's on the line with us right now, talking about his new book, If These Walls Could Talk, Chicago Bears. Otis, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
We're great. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
I was lucky enough to meet you well over 30 years ago when you guys were doing the Good News Bears basketball team. And
Yes.
and you guys were traveling around, and I was on one of the squads that got a chance to play against you. And I got to say this, and not because you're on the line with us. I've said this before off the air. You were so amazingly cool with everybody. The guys you played against, the fans in the crowd who just wanted to reach out and touch you and talk to you and all. And this was before the Super Bowl. You were just as genuine and cool, and I ran into you once and I fell down. And, everything that we expected out of you was there on display that night. And what a great time and what a great show you put on for the crowd.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I was taught, hey, treat people the way you want to be treated. And, things will go well for you. So that was a great program as well. The Bears on court, and we helped a lot of organizations, a lot of communities raise money and kind of stayed in shape and had a good time. We wasn't pretty bad, basketball players either.
No, you were pretty good, as a matter of fact.
Otis, before we kind of talk about what's going on today in the NFL, Riley and I were speaking, when we take some time off from our jobs, we get as far away as we can from it. We don't like to pay attention. Now you're a retired NFL football player. Do you still keep up with the league? Are you watching every Sunday? Do you follow what's going on, down at Hallis Hall on a daily thing?
Well, it's got to the point where basically, yes, football is in my blood. I love the game, and I still, stay close to it, but follow it and watch it all the time, no. I don't, but I watch the highlights and I keep up, try to keep up with the current events and see what's going on. So, football is not like it was back when I was playing. I mean, with the rules and some of the, the different generations, let me just say that. The approach to the game is a little different, and we were taught, this is not promised to you. Go out there and play 100% because you never know when it's going to end, whether it's due to retirement or whether it's due to injury. Now you go out there, you get a whole lot of money, and you play when you want to play. So, and with the rules in it, the physicality is not in it like it used to be. So the game is a little different, so I still enjoy it. I still keep up with it, yes.
Now, you're the head coach of the Chicago Bears. I've just named you such this morning. The news wire. The news.
I got to get down to Hallis Hall.
Yeah, you got to hurry up. Yeah, the news wires will pick up on this in a minute. What do you do with the quarterback spot?
Wow, that's an interesting thing. I mean, because, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I mean, because people know me, I'm going to say, whether you like it or not, I'm going to say what I have to say. I think the move with Glennon wasn't the smartest move. I don't really believe he's a good guy, probably. He's a decent quarterback, but you don't invest that kind of money into a second string. You're second string for a reason. Now, saying this, now you take a kid out of college that, from my knowledge, and I could be wrong, you only played, 12-1 season, and now you get drafted number one, and you expect to run a ball club on the professional level. That's a large task, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
It will be interesting to see what happens. Otis, you're on. We're having you on. We love talking to you, but you have a book out talking about your time with the Bears back in the '80s. You guys are gods amongst Chicago's sports world. There's no denying that. There is a narrative that's been going on in especially in Chicago sports media that's critical of your old coach Mike Ditka, saying that he possibly didn't utilize talent the way he should have. That it should have been a dynasty coming out of that team. Do you share any of that sentiments with your old coach? Do you have any? Do you wish he would have handled things a little bit differently back in the mid '80s?
Well, let me just say this. Mike and I, it's no secret, at times didn't see eye to eye. I mean, we had the kind of individuals on our team, number one, that was 100. you did not have to motivate us. We had some great athletes, and I don't have to name all of them. I can go down the line from Singletary to Wilbur to Richard to Hampton to Covert to McMahon. I mean, I can go on and on. We were professionals at what we did. Yes, we had a great time off the field, but we took care of our business when it came down to Sunday. Now, sometimes when you take that kind of talent, you know, it can go two ways. One, you know, you can have a lot of guys, you get big heads, you know, because Walter was always the marquee guy.
Mm-hmm.
McMahon came second, Fridge came third. You know, so they were what we call the Park Avenue boys. You know, in turn, you know, we were committed. So I guess to suppress us, because, I mean, we were doing number winning games, he would say things that really didn't necessarily have to be said. I mean, because I would think when you played the game, you know the game, you understand the game, but to coach the game and translate that is two different things. You know, you have to have a certain mental mentality. And, you know, John Madden said it best. He said, you find out what you have and you let them do what they do. You don't distract them. Now, Buddy took a lot of deflections and distractions away from, you know, from him, you know, messing with the guys on defense.
Mm-hmm.
But he always said, these are my guys. I will take care of them. You know, so when Buddy left, you know, the aggressiveness in the defense left. So we really didn't get a chance to really show on defense our dominance. We showed you one year what it really looked like. But when he left, because of, and everybody probably know what reason, him and Mike didn't see eye to eye. They couldn't get along. So he said, let me go do my thing somewhere else. So right there when he left, that took those other championships away. Because I don't care what they say. Offense win games. Defense win championships. And we had the team, and we were young enough where we could have won definitely 2 Super Bowls in a row, maybe 3. I don't know. But I know guarantee you, Buddy would have stayed in 86 and 87. Before that strike, we'd have won another Super Bowl. You know, the Giants wouldn't have won that Super Bowl. So I'll leave that there. But when I go back to me personally, you know, it's always a rule if you get injured, and I talk about this in my book, so it ain't no secret. And I've always talked about this. You know, when, you know, it's a hidden rule. When you get hurt, you don't lose your job due to injury. You come back, and if you're okay, you play. If not, then you put the next guy in there. For some reason, you know, he called me and Will for the big mouth booking. So he didn't, you know, right then and there, we looked at each other, we knew what the deal was. Because I always told him, I said, you ain't going to find another linebacker better than me. No way in America. You have to go to another country.
You would, too.
So as long as I'm healthy, I'm going to play football. So he chose to keep Ron Rivera in there, which I have nothing against Ron Rivera. I love him. He's my guy. But when I come back, I'm supposed to resume my position. Well, he didn't want that. He said, I like it the way it is. And then we got into it, and he said he would blackball me. You know, so it was always tension there, but I was told one thing. I might not like you, but I'm going to respect you because you're a man just like I am. And my mother always said, you give respect to get respect. And, you know, I went on. I think I could have had a bigger and better, you know, career, but he suppressed that, you know, because he's the head coach. So he's the boss. So you got to abide by what the boss says. But if you nourish people like Buddy Ryan did, and you get them to play them, you get them to go through a wall for you. You know, because Buddy ain't nothing we wouldn't have done for him, and it's vice versa. Ain't nothing, everything. It was like, you know, working for your dad. You know, your dad. He said, just because I beat you don't mean I don't love you. And he always had that respect. You know, do your job, and you got nothing to worry about. So we were a good football team. There's no doubt about it. We had great talent, but you have to manage that talent the right way.
Spending some time with Otis Wilson, the great number 55, legendary Chicago Bear. The book is If These Walls Could Talk, Chicago Bears, stories from the Chicago Bears sideline, locker room, and press box. Otis Wilson, along with Chet Kopic there. And I'm glad you said that because that was going to be a question. I've heard more than just you make the point that if Buddy had been the head coach, there would have been more trophies that would have been brought home, not just one. And that's the confirmation I was looking for because I've heard a lot of people say it, but nobody who carries the weight that you carry.
Well, I mean, it's a fact. I mean, we have some great athletes. You don't have, Wilbur Marshall, Mike Singletary, Otis Wilson, Dan Hampton, Richard Dent, and y'all only have one championship? Come on. And we were 25, 26, 27. I mean, the youngest team to win a Super Bowl. A lot of times, it's the system is always, Buddy had a great system, but he had great players running that system, and it's unfortunate. I would have loved to see, should really show people in America, because you look at the 49ers, all the championships, you look at the Steelers, all the championships, but none of those championships were dominating like ours. We were like the Mike Tyson of football.
Otis, you touched on it at the beginning of the interview. You kind of mentioned the NFL is different. The physicality of the game is a little different. A lot of that is traced back to head injuries that we're talking about a lot. And I know that's affected a couple guys from your old team, the CTE stuff. Do you see this killing the game in the future? What does NFL look like in 20 years? Is it still around the way we know it? Is it still as popular, do you think? What's your prediction as a guy that was in it? Where is it headed in the next decade or two?
Well, I think the game will always be popular because football is football. People love to come out and see those collisions, but yes, the NFL always knew that there were problems back when they wasn't disclosing it. Now, is an issue, and unfortunately, you have to, you have to figure it out as an owner and as a league. Do you want to keep playing the old school way, or do you want to keep these people healthy? So they're modifying and they're trying to figure it out. And when I say the kids are different, these kids, because I asked Singletary, I asked Harbaugh, I asked Leslie Frazier, I said, will these guys today stick their face in there? And they said, no, one of these guys will stick their face in there. I mean, so that's why I say the physicality of it. When you look at these guys, half of them don't even wear pads.
Right.
I mean, they wear shoulder pads and helmets. It wasn't no way in the hell we were going to go out there like that because you had to keep your head on a swivel. People were coming from every direction, and they was going to hit you. Now, in training camp, you got 1 day of pads. You got 1 day off. We ain't never had no days off. We had 2 days, twice a day we practiced, 100-degree weather. We in pads. We going. Now we didn't hurt anybody, but, you can't ask somebody to go 100 miles an hour on Sunday, but they don't do it on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's just not going to happen. That's why you have a lot of injuries, because the body has to adjust. Mentally and physically, you have to do the work to get it. So the work is not the same. The dollars are not the same.
No, so you mentioned in your answer there that NFL basically has a decision of keeping the physicality in the game or keeping the players healthy. So should they be erring on the side of healthy players?
Well, you always want healthy players because if you're paying somebody $20 million, you want him out there on the field. You don't want him on the bench and paying him all this money just to be paying him. That's like you owning a store and your employees say, well, I'm going to take a day off, I'm going to take a week off, and you keep paying them. No, that's not going to happen. Same thing in football. The owner wants you out there on that field making that money, so they're trying to figure out the best way to do that. But, again, I'll say this because, hey, I don't play football anymore. Do they really care about you, your mental health, your physical health? They don't care about that. They trying to make money. They don't care about us. I mean, they showed us that a long time ago when they hit all the doctor's records. And now they finally came out and said, okay, it's an issue, and you know, they're going to have to take care of it.
Well, here's something you guys are going to have to take care of. That's reading Otis's book. If These Walls Could Talk, Chicago Bears, Stories from the Chicago Bears Sideline, Locker Room, and Press Box. And one thing you guys had mentioned that you guys were the Mike Tysons of football. One of my favorite lines ever delivered by a play-by-play guy, Otis, was during the Super Bowl when you went blazing in and put Tony Eason on his butt for, I don't know, the 400th time, something along those lines. Dick Enberg says, "Oh my! If this was a fight, they'd stop it."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and it was right after just an unbelievable rush by you that came in and just leveled him. And Enberg, you know, I could just picture him in the booth going, "Oh man, we just got to stop this. This is getting bad." And for his Bears fan, it was great.
Fun. We were just having fun, my man.
Yeah,
we had a great system and. I put a lot of those good 85 stories in the book, and football's been good to me, and I have a lot to say, and I talk about everything. So I think folks should go out there and get the book. It's some interesting reading.
I say you buy several of them, give everybody you consider a friend. Get them all a copy of Otis's book. That'll make for a Merry Christmas for everybody.
There you go. That's what I'm thinking.
Otis, thanks a lot for taking time out of your day for us. We remain gigantic fans of yours, and we're just thrilled you took time out of your day for us.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and, because that was a great time. I mean, I always like to put it this way. We had the 80s, and Michael Jordan had the 90s, and we had a great time. I only wish we could have really had more than one championship, and people would have really realized that it wasn't just a fluke. I mean, it wasn't a one-time thing. We could have done it. So, go out and get the book, If These Walls Can Talk, and, you can recapture some of the great old days.
Yeah, they were great old days, and we thank you for them. Otis, thanks a lot. Have a fantastic day.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you allowing me on.